Hello everybody, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Video Guys Live. It is Tuesday, it is about 3 o'clock Eastern, which means we're going to spend about 10 to 15 minutes talking about live streaming equipment in the live streaming world. Give me 1 second, I need to mute my team, sorry. Adam's got it. Anyway, so today we're talking about some really cool stuff. We're going to be talking about Elgato and how Elgato can help turn anybody into a one-person professional live streamer. They have switching capabilities, they have microphones, they have cameras, they really do have everything for every part of your production. So if you're unfamiliar with what a Stream Deck is, this is actually the new Stream Deck, but Stream Deck is something that you can plug into your computer and you can control a whole host of different things with that. Most people are going to be using this for like game capture, being able to pull up Microsoft Teams or Zoom or be able to control things like that. But you also have the added benefit of being able to connect it to something like a TriCaster or Wirecast or OBS to control your scenes and camera inputs without having to go and get an additional dedicated controller. Some of the Elgato devices also allow you to control things like audio things. Now that again can be using some of the knobs that are on the Stream Deck XL Plus here or the Stream Deck Plus, but you can also just use the physical keypads to increase the volume of your computer or also choose individual channels in your production system to raise, lower, and or mute them. You can also control other things that are on your either network or connected to your computer to be able to control them, such as lights or firing off graphics. We here at Video Guys are big fans of Flowix graphics, and you can control your Flowix graphics from a Stream Deck. And you can do a whole bunch of other things with the Stream Deck. Now, this, like I said, is the brand new Elgato Stream Deck Plus XL. I said XL Plus. So this is basically if a Stream Deck XL and a Stream Deck Plus had a baby. So it has the same 32 keys as the Stream Deck XL, and it has the same knobs as a Plus, and now you can have all of those combined into one all-in-one device. So you have these multifunctional dials, which can be used for a whole host of different features. We already talked about being able to lower or raise volume, but imagine connecting this to some of your PoE or Ethernet-based lights and being able to raise or lower the brightness. With the click of one of those buttons, being able to change the color temperature of your lights. Another thing that I think is really cool is that there is actually a plugin that you can use with Premiere and some of the other non-linear editors out there. And what you can do with that knob is go frame by frame throughout your timeline. You know, I use Premiere a lot, so being able to not have to either just manually one at a time with the arrow keys or holding shift and doing a couple frames at a time, but being able to quickly scroll through or go one at a time with one of these knobs is something that is just fantastic. And there are tons of different ways that you can utilize those knobs plus the buttons. The other really cool thing about the Stream Deck Plus XL, which is another feature from the Stream Deck Plus, is this bar right here is actually a touchscreen bar, and that has full motion video in it as well, so you can see things and be able to control things on there as well. The Stream Deck Plus XL is in stock and available at Video Guys right now for $349.99. Now let's talk about, again, some of the different things that you can do as a one-man operator to control your production or just your computer in general. So we already talked about being able to connect to a production system, something like a TriCaster or OBS or Wirecast, and being able to control your transitions between different scenes in Wirecast, OBS, TriCaster. being able to switch between your cameras, being able to, again, choose individual ISO audio channels that are being brought in and either mute them or raise or lower the volume of them. All of those things can be controlled through a Stream Deck. You can also use things like any audio processing things. Elgato has some audio tools as well, including the XLR Pro and their Wave Mark III microphones. So of course there's going to be audio control built into these devices as well. So you can apply different effects depending on what program you're using. You can again control the mixes, the volume levels, and or mute those volume levels as well. So you have a lot of different control in terms of your visuals and your audio. But I also mentioned that you can use this in programs like Photoshop or Premiere to be able to really make best use of your time instead of having to remember, oh, what does this hotkey on the keyboard do, and I gotta click on the sidebar here. Nope, you can just pre-program the buttons. The buttons will have a little image that you can put on them as well. You can have text on it, so you don't even have to think about it. You just say, oh, okay, that one is my grab this layer, that one is my export this image, this one is scrub through my timeline. All of that can be controlled through your Stream Deck. And again, these features are available on all of the Stream Decks. The Stream Deck XL Plus just happens to be the big boy in the room. It has 32 buttons on it. It has the 6 knobs on it, but there are smaller Stream Decks that have 6 buttons on them or 16 buttons on them and everything in between. Now, there's also a lot of AI automation that is being implemented in all aspects of filmmaking, live streaming, video production, or just really creative workflows in general. So being able to, again, streamline that process to be able to control whatever automation programs that you're using is just really, really neat. And all of that can be, again, controlled at the press of a single button or a flick on a single knob, whatever it may be. Now, like I said, there are a whole bunch of Stream Decks that are available at Videoguys. You have your more traditional Stream Deck Mark II, which is the 15 keys buttoned Stream Deck. Then you have the Stream Deck Plus, which is what I currently have at my editing computer right now, again, for those knobs to be able to scroll through Premiere and things like that. Then you have the Stream Deck XL, and the Stream Deck XL has 32 buttons on it. And with the Elgato Stream Deck Plus XL, which again is this guy right here, you have 36 buttons on it. So you even have actually a couple more buttons on it, and you have the 6 knobs. So you get a little bit more buttons and a little bit more knobs than the Stream Deck Plus and the Stream Deck XL combined. Now again, all of these things can be controlled from a single platform. So when you're streaming your video, whether you're using OBS or Streamlabs or Twitch, we didn't even talk about being able to have Twitch integration on the Stream Deck, YouTube, Kick, whatever platform you're using, there is already a plugin that is in the Elgato Marketplace where you can be able to download that and assign certain functions to whatever keys you want on your Stream Deck. Now, of course, this can also be used in all of your smart home features and communications as well. It doesn't have to be just for live streaming. I said at the top of the show that you can use this with Word and PowerPoint and Excel and all of those different things, but you can also use it in video conferencing platforms like Zoom or Microsoft Teams to be able to switch the active speaker, mute yourself, raise your volume, change your background. All of these things can be controlled right from the Stream Deck. Discord is another big thing that a lot of people are using with the Stream Deck, being able to control your music in the background. Again, I'm somebody, when I'm not editing something that requires audio or voiceover in it, and it's more just pure visuals, I like to listen to music in the background. Being able to skip a song, pause a song, raise the volume, do all of that without having to close or minimize my Premiere session and just look right at my Stream Deck is fantastic. And of course, there's some home integration that you can do into this too. There's a lot of features, you know, we're going back to talking about automation. There's a lot of things that are controllable with smart homes, like Philips Hue for their smart lights. So you can raise and lower the brightness or change the color temperature, or maybe even the RGB of your lights at home. Now again, I keep saying that you can get all of these different plugins, and where do you get these plugins from? Well, the simple answer is you get these plugins from the Elgato Marketplace. Some of them are free, some of them are paid, but let me just give you a quick look at what the Marketplace looks like. So if I minimize my PowerPoint here, and I go over to my Chrome browser here, you can see that this is the Elgato Marketplace. And all I need to be able to do is just search in here and say, okay, hey, I want to look for Discord. And as you can see, hey, look, Elgato made this, this integration. So you can do all of these things. You can mute, deafen, voice channel, text channel, push to talk, push to mute, video toggle, stream toggle. All of these predefined buttons or actions can be assigned to any of the buttons in your Stream Deck. If I wanted to look at, for example, OBS, let's see what comes up when we go to OBS. This is another one that's free and made by Elgato. Some of them are made by the manufacturer, some of them are made by Elgato themselves, and some of them are actually just made by users themselves. So again, you can start and stop your recording, you can pause, you can start or stop your stream, you can set up replays for instant replays, switching your sources, switching your scenes, mute, unmute. All of these different things can be downloaded for free and then just assigned to buttons in the Marketplace. Let's look up one more, because like I said, we're big fans of the Premiere one. And so some of them are free, some of them are not free. So as you can see, some of these are more so demos, some of them are full-fledged, and this is one. Premiere's plugins are not officially licensed, but they still do the same thing. So a lot of really cool stuff that you can get from the Marketplace, some of it free, most of it free. A lot of it is also official. Some of them aren't official, but that just means that it's, because it's open source and anybody can make these plugins, that means that there's a high chance that somebody has made a plugin for whatever system you are using. So really easy to set up. You can also use Elgato Camera Hub to control a whole bunch of other things too, like their cameras, their microphones, and even their prompters. If you want to go into a full-fledged production system, all of that can be controlled as well from the Camera Hub. Now again, the great thing about Elgato just in general is making everything yours. You can have unlimited profiles, so you can have different pages with different functionality set on them. You can set them up to be whatever you want. You can change what the icon is on the buttons. You can change what the wording is on the buttons themselves. You can assign different functions to the knobs and buttons. Some things are even simple, like just being able to have the weather displayed on that touchscreen bar. It's something that, again, at the glance, hey, is it gonna rain tonight? Okay, yeah, I'm gonna look at it. Some of these can even be multi-action. So when you start up your computer, I know some of my colleagues here in the office, they start up their computer, they hit one button on their Stream Deck, and it opens up Word and Excel and Teams and all of their programs for the start of the day. And then you can do the same thing in reverse at the end of the day. Hit one button and everything closes. So everything can be controlled at your fingertips however you want. And there really is a Stream Deck for every single part of the workflow. Now, Elgato is, of course, not just making the Stream Decks and new versions of the Stream Deck, but they also have some other aspects in the pipeline out there. Like I said at the top of the show, they even have some cameras and microphones. So the Wave XLR Pro allows you to bring in audio from 2 XLR sources into a computer, and then through Camera Hub be able to manage those audio sources. The Wave XLR Mark II allows for you to have another just dedicated volume knob and being able to control what you are controlling. So similar to having just one of these knobs on the Plus XL. They also have their USB mics, the Wave 3 Mark II, which these are super high quality but super cost effective microphones to be able to get your audio in. And then if you wanted to kind of have a combination of a couple different products, there is the XLR dock for the Stream Deck Mark II, which is their 15 key system. It has an XLR plug, barrel plug in the back of it, so you can bring in your audio and have it all in one unit. As you can see, most of these products are in stock and available at Videoguys right now. The Wave XLR Pro is still in the works, but we do know that it is coming. It's a couple months away, but it is coming. So again, all of these things can be controlled by a single person. It doesn't matter if you're using OBS or TriCaster or Wirecast or vMix or whatever production system you want. All of that can be controlled, your entire production, right from a single source. I really like this tagline that Elgato is using and saying, stay focused on the content, not the chaos. We know that there is a lot of stuff that goes into a production. We do this live stream every Tuesday at 3 o'clock Eastern. We know that there's a lot of chaos when it comes to making videos and live streams and things like that. One way to eliminate that chaos is by having everything in one centralized control point, and the Elgato Stream Decks do that. That's all I have for today's show. Thank you so much for joining us for Videoguys Live. We will see you next Tuesday at 3 o'clock Eastern. And as always, if you have any questions, make sure to comment down below or give us a call at 800-323-2325. Thanks.